Bonjour. Right, let's get straight into the 6 best of the week from the comic book shelves. And I've got to say, I'm starting off really traditional this week. I can't believe how traditional I'm starting. You wait till you see the first 3 I've got. And we have been waiting for it. It says on the cover, at last. And I've got to say, it is the first issue of kind of like what's been going on for the past, anyway, if you've been following Amazing Spider-Man, you know what I'm on about. But it does, for me, John Romita Jr., I know he's got his detractors, but he's back. And Zeb Wells, obviously, he's been on it all the time, but all the fillers are finished and we're back to the story we all wanted to know about a year ago, to be fair. So from Spider-Man, if you thought that was traditional start, I'm carrying on. Alex Ross cover, Fantastic Four, issue 5. This is still delivering on a level of Fantastic Four type stories that is old-fashioned in its tone and modern in its delivery somehow. Somehow they're pleasing both camps, and I'm really over the moon with these 5 issues of Fantastic Four. If you've been missing something, if you thought there's been something missing, I tell you what, if Marvel could apply that across a lot of their characters, if they could apply what they've done to the Fantastic Four, which is kind of take it right back to its roots and almost start again, but without being, it's not a reboot. Well, it's kind of like a restart rather than a reboot, because all the Fantastic Four's there, Alicia's there, and they've dug up an old adversary, and it is such an enjoyably easy read, a bit like the Avengers Across Time book as well, where they're not overcomplicating things. They really are not. They're all using interdimensional travel. I've got them and Twickly, but I'm going to forgive them for that because they are delivering. So, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four. Here we go. And I've been singing this book's praises. The Deadly Duo. This will make one cracking graphic novel, and they need to do. I'm going to have bought all the issues by the time the graphic novel comes out. If they do that graphic novel with some good backup, I know they do the black and white, like the uncoloured Silvestri artwork in the back of these, but if they do some, I don't know, some script pages, some interviews, and throw all that into a nice hardcover signed graphic novel, I'm getting that as well, because that's a great story. That's a great story. And now from all of the standard to a tale of satanic heavy metal cut and a cult, a heavy metal, a satanic cult, and a heavy metal rock star black tape. That's good. That is really good fun. Really good fun. And I don't suppose I can call this good fun, but it is one of my 6 of the best, and it's a good read. Still not overly enamoured with the art style. I'm only being honest, but I'm not saying the art is bad. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm kind of relaxed. I'm relaxing into it. It's not jarring and it's not spoiling it for me. So, that's just a tiny little comment. And this baby. Oh, this bad boy. 56 pages for $5, for $4.99. Dark Horse. Book of the week. We'll go through cover of the week later on, right at the end, if anyone wants to stay with me for that long. And anyway, that is my 6 of the best. And let's get right into it. So here we go. The first of the traditionals. Amazing Spider-Man. So glad to see John Romita Jr. back. This is it, the story arc we've been waiting for. Yes, we have for quite some time, guys, to be fair. And it's the standard start. in the now with Mary Jane and, you know, the guy, and then something happens. And this is all present day. So this is the direct continuation on. And I don't know what it is about John Romita Jr.'s artwork. I just really, really like it. It just makes me feel at ease with everything that's going on. He's a storyteller. He's one of the greats. He's one of the greats, and I know he has got his detractors, but not for me. So 1 year earlier. Here we go. Now we're getting into the story. And they have kind of plucked out this obscure, and I don't know, and they have, the editor has given the little asterisk with the issue of Spider-Man that we expect all of this from, but the story does unfold well enough to understand it, even if you either can't remember. Nice centre page spreads, which obviously Romita Jr. can do with his eyes closed, and it rocks along. It rocks along, and that's another thing about it. Zeb Wells and John Romita Jr., and I think a lot of writers teamed up with John Romita Jr. can just get away with minimal dialogue, minimal boxes and thought balloons and narration and all the rest of it, and just get on with it, because they know that this guy can just deliver. Can just deliver their story for them. That's not taking anything away from writers. I'm not saying that they're lazy, but yeah. So this was an enjoyable. Harks back to Amazing Spider-Man 555. God knows how long ago that was. That they've plucked this guy, but it does make sense why he's on a rampage now. That's what I'm getting at. So I did enjoy it. And now we are going into, it looks like, another dimension or a mystical realm. So that is becoming a little bit of a staple for not just Marvel, to be fair. It's becoming a bit of a staple for everyone at the moment, and I don't know where it's going to end. And it certainly isn't going to end in Fantastic Four, because they go into another dimension as well. But nevertheless, this is cloaked with a gorgeous Alex Ross cover. He's doing all the, and they do their gazillion variants as usual. And Ryan North on the story, the stories he's created up to now. Ivan Fiorelli on the artwork. What they've created is something really. They really have brought back the fantastic into it. They even allude to it in one of the speech balloons when they come back later on in this issue, and they go, well, they didn't use the word, the only word we didn't use was fantastic. Just keeping it light-hearted, but not light-hearted in the way that which I didn't like about the Spider-Man Dark Web, where everything was so silly. This is light-hearted because they're a family and they're riffing off of all the characters. So Reed Richards is back to being annoyingly intelligent and reeling off. Where is it? There's a look, like this whole thing is awesome, because it's just a a word balloon full of long words, which is what we want from Reed Richards. The bad guy casting one magic spell, and the rest of the issue is the intrigue. It's not the thing, clobbering time. It will be, but not yet. It's the torch being. It's just torch being Johnny Storm. Look, they're all just jealous of my moustache. He's just grown a new moustache in this arc, and maybe the abs. He's still, that's his character. Reed Richards is his character. Ben Grimm. They're all back to how they should be, and then the intrigue, like I say, the intrigue emanates from there, and Reed Richards working it out and telling them what they've got to do. And this is just a one self-contained story, which is another thing I really loved about this. I really did love the fact when they can give me a comic, when was the last time, and please tell me in the comments, when was the last time you got one issue of a comic with a beginning, middle and end story to it. And particularly in a Fantastic Four, and they used to do it for every character month after month. And I know, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying every comic should do that now. The world's moved on, and graphic novels and the 6-issue story arc or 5 issues, I'm not saying we should all have 1 issues of story, but it was refreshing. It really was refreshing for every character in the Fantastic Four. Nice art, nice art job from Fiorelli, and yet they all use their powers and to overcome the obstacles and the end. But not the end, because they're on the road, and this is the 5th issue, and the previous 4 have just been bringing all of them back together, to be fair. And I've really, really enjoyed it. Like a nice little touch at the end where, Reed Richards thinks that he's sorted everything out, but that there might be trouble afoot because this pigeon has landed in something he shouldn't, that they might have brought back from another dimension. So, but that's just enough. It's just enough. So, yeah, loved it. I really did love that. And I know it's very traditional, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, and now Batman. But these guys are all they're all making it look easy. Like I've said before about Mark Waid and Jeff Johns, how they make comic book superhero storytelling easy. But it is not. To weave your story within the superhero genre at the moment, bearing in mind, all the films and what people's expectations and that, it is no mean feat to weave a good storyline now within the superhero genre. And I think I've made this book of the week every issue, but I don't care. I don't care because it is. And Batman is a detective in this, and I've probably said that before, but again, I don't care. I ain't going to still bang on about it. And I'll tell you what, again, I'll say if they did a really nice hardcover graphic novel of this when it comes, just maybe even a larger format or something, so we can get this gorgeous artwork on a bigger scale, I'm buying that as well. I bought all the issues and everything about artwork, colouring, loving Silvestri style. Also, I've noticed in this issue, and the kind of Frank Miller-esque couple of little moments, I just did think this was a bit, nothing wrong with that. I mean, even Jim Lee riffed off the Miller, the original kind of Frank Miller stuff back in the day. Jim Lee when he done Hush and stuff. But anyway, I'm loving the fact that Batman is, and we're getting, this is the penultimate issue, and just loving the way he's done all the characters, and this is great. This is great. Just bringing in, it's like I say, it's everything you want from a Bat book. The deadly duo. You got Batman and Joker in it. Oh, now you got Batgirl. You got Commissioner Gordon. You got some new intrigue, some new villains. Bit of Nightwing, bit of Alfred. Come on, there's nothing you don't need. It goes back to old Arkham and the tunnels underneath, and where he's another little Miller-esque shot there that I thought nothing wrong with that though. I'm not doing that in a derogatory term. Saying that in a derogatory way. And such a moody gothic. I do like my Batman gothic, gotta say. And when you give me a full moon, a Batmobile, a Joker, another full moon, and a silhouette of Batman, then I'm and a cave, I'm in. I'm done, and I'm enjoying it. Like, look at this stuff. Look at this stuff. I'm deliberately not going into the storyline because I would like to leave people to kind of have a little look at what I'm banging on about, and I don't want to really spoil it. I'm knowing the way I am spoiling it. I thought this was fantastic. This is only one page that Harley Quinn's in this issue, but if you're going to have her turn up, what a page. I'm going to flick to quickly the black and white artwork at the back. Inked pages by Mark Silvestri. One thing I will say, I know I'm gushing over his artwork. But his writing on this, one thing that did make me think about this issue, as well as the artwork, is what a great look at this. Oh, he must have. You can't tell me he did not enjoy every single line of every single panel drawing these characters. But if you're gonna draw Alfred, that's how I'm gonna draw Alfred. You know, if I'm gonna draw Batgirl, that's how I'm gonna draw her. And the Joker, that's how I'm gonna draw him. It's all classic stuff, but it doesn't mean it's boring. It really doesn't, because he's written a really fresh story, and it did make me think about how poor McFarlane's story was on the Batman Spawn comic. It was okay, and I think I did say at the time, it is the artwork that carries it. But Silvestri here, I think, has woven a really, really dark, moody story, a gothic story of intrigue. You know, the mystery of it right up until the end, and we're right there now. Look at this stuff. Look at this stuff. Oh, just absolutely fantastic. And look, the crosshatch away, man. Look at this stuff. That is absolutely beautiful in black and white. And I know I've said it before. And I'll probably say it again next issue. But anyway, I really do. You must know by now, I sincerely recommend this. Well, and it's well worth the money. I think it's it's on their black label. It's $4.99, but you know, cardstock cover and all that going on. So now to my beloved indies. OWA always giving us something new, something different. Dan Panosian on this story about a heavy metal singer that leaves behind a mystery to do with satanic. You know, you think it's going to go that way, and the woman he leaves behind is looking into what she discovered in last issue down in the she's looking for what these symbols mean down in this mysterious basement in the bottom of the house, which is leading her down the avenue of satanic rituals and stuff. And they just bring in all the different characters. They weave in all the different characters. The bodyguard's back from the first issue. And it just brings in this new character that knew the rocker that died, and nice art style that really does suit the story. I've never seen any of the guys' artwork before, but it really does suit. You know, it's a bit of a soap opera. There's this other new character, you know, his ex-bodyguard in it that he's, you know, his widow is talking to, and then back to the mystery again. Back in the house at night in the dark, and it's unravelled one more piece. Like I say, you know, I don't really want to unravel too much of the story. You know, back in the home on her own at night, just with the bodyguard there and her mate, and then back at the end of last issue 1, we was down in this crypt, and then they're back in it again. So I know it was a quick run through, but probably this one, is going to be 4 issue in a nice slim graphic novel, which AWA do like doing. So maybe that will be better as 4 issues in a graphic novel. But nevertheless, I think they've made that a good couple of issues of giving us enough information, enough character development, and leaving it on a little bit of a cliffhanger. And they left this one on a cliffhanger. This reminds me of an X-File of old, like maybe the first series or 2. And these 2 detectives looking into this weird mystery. So this is issue 2. And they're basically looking into murders where the murderer, and this is he, they've introduced us to him in this issue. They didn't in last issue. They just made it. They just done the setup. And this did basically our lead character and his wife and the stress and strains. You know, it's all classic stuff. But this is what the murderer is doing to his victims. He is meticulously fashioning these angels' wings for his victims, but only some of them. So that's just part of the. It's just part of the mystery, and obviously he's the main detective looking for, and his partner looking for the clues. They're stumped. They're stumped. Blood dripping on him there. Look. And like I say about the art style, I can't say I am the biggest fan, and I am not saying I couldn't draw this comic. So I am not saying in any way, shape, or form that this artwork detracts from the story, but it has taken me 2 issues to get used to it. One thing I will say is he's a good storyteller. He does move this imagery along nicely. Maybe what I think it is for the style of story, which is a mystery, you know, kind of like a murder mystery detective story. Maybe I'm finding this style a bit too cartoony. So I'm not saying he's got a bad style, but maybe that's what it is. But what I'm also saying is that it hasn't spoiled it for me. I just don't think that it was the perfect match made in heaven. See what I did there? I'm proud of that. And yeah, so this is all standard fare, really. We're introduced to his parents, and he's asking what he was like as a kid because he's worried about his own son. And I'm sure they're not putting that in the story. That might just be a little barbecue story with his parents and stuff, and his wife's getting the ump. I know that's gonna. I know for a fact that's gonna resonate throughout this storyline, and they're doing enough here. And this last page, this is how he's gathering the feathers. I really did like this. And then this is the cover for the next issue. Love it. So again, this is probably going to be, as with all of these, many of these independent titles, and which of Image does loads. Definitely worth picking up. If you're not into the single issues, this will be a great graphic novel. Blood Tree. Be a great graphic novel. Already, I know. Unless they really, really, really spoil it in the next 2 or 3 issues. I don't know how many issues that's going to be. And obviously that's Mad Ghost, who does the Junkyard Joe as well, which is one of my favourite comics of last year, if not the favourite comic now. Favourite comic last year, but this is favourite comic of the week, or for a while. And what a cover as well. What a cover. Stylistically, beautiful. To sell a cover, because obviously this doesn't work. The hands on the... This is for some reason, which we have yet to find out, he puts his hand in red paint and puts that on his crash helmet, does that to his crash helmet, and does the eyes. But that would be more curved. But stylistically, to sell a comic and put it on the cover for a publisher to do that, this is what I'm talking about. The style of this, I thought, was spot on. Left it to the colorist. I don't know if it was the artist who done the colouring. And this is 56 pages for $4.99. So well done, Dark Horse. You know, full marks for Dark Horse for doing this, for delivering this. And I know there's a few, you will see a few black, but obviously Scott Snyder, who done that beautiful run on Batman, gives us a future noir, science fiction noir story from San Francisco 2052, and we're straight in it with rain, lights, hover cars, robots, cyborgs, whatever you want to call them, and a suicide because she's just thrown herself off the building, and the mystery ensues from there. And then we're into the detective character, Detective Doon. Is it Doon or Dunes? Anyway, this is our detective who is following. He's on another case when we join him. Sam Dunes. So he's on another case, and it's basically in this future world, there's been a war called the Red War, and this dystopian nightmare world, we're all using we're all being hooked up to the veil, and the veil means that it's an implant in our brain, and instead of seeing reality, we see whatever we've programmed the veil to see. And this is where all this stuff comes in. This is where he gets mucked up because he gets jumped. He gets jumped and someone gives him a jab. And they really did play around nicely with the fact that this is what he's seen. He's seen all these different realities. This is his reality. He's getting attacked and shot at, and he's on the motorbike. But in the alternate realities, look, they're not in a car, they're in a wagon. They're not in America, they're in India or Pakistan, whatever country they might have those, in a Middle Eastern country, maybe. And so it ensues because he's been zapped in the neck with something. So that's spoiling his kind of messing with his reality. But I just thought it was nicely done. Something that I couldn't think of what other sci-fi story, comic book story had done this as well. But I think it was an Image book that did this. But what I did notice was this, which is a beautiful nod to Blueberry, which was the cowboy strip that Mobius did many, many, many years ago. And I thought this was a great homage to Mobius, where they sat up the wagon on the other side. Like I say, he's on a motorbike following a car, but they turned it into a wagon, and these were kind of like the flashes of the veil, giving us a taste of what the veil actually means. And that is Mobius's Blueberry, and I thought that was a lovely. And I know maybe I'm too geeky for my own good, I don't know. But anyway, and maybe you know what all these other references are, because I bet some of these are other comic-y references, which I'd love to find out about, especially this one. I bet someone somewhere knows what reference that is, because I knew that one. But anyway, this is our main hero. It was just a great artwork, is beautiful, and the colouring is also beautiful by Manapul. And I think he's a writer-artist on Flash as well. And Scott Snyder obviously done that great run with Capullo on Batman. So you've got a writer and an artist on the top of their, both at the top of their game. Just want to check. He done the colouring as well, yeah, beautiful. Love this stuff. This neon bleached, rain drenched dystopian. I know we could say that, Blade Runner set the template for this stuff, and we can and we should. But this is a comic, and there's only a certain amount. You're limited. These images aren't moving, but they do under skillful artists, and he's colouring this himself. Look, it's just nice. Just an attention to detail, and you know what I'm like with colouring. When it's good, it's very good. A touch of whatever he's done there. Look, touch there. Gorgeous. Different style of colouring here, and the flashback to his wife, and then more the proper. Now we're in the proper noir. Blade. We're proper into Blade, but this is nothing to do with cyborgs and Blade Runner and Off-World and anything to do with that. I'm talking about the aesthetic of it. That it is back to film noir art style. Even all of this, the blinds. It's the classic stuff. It's what set off noir. That's why it's it's just a trope. And the gun and the femme fatale. She's this mysterious woman that sent him on his first case that's got him bang in trouble in this issue. And we're still, look, there's the Staples. We're only halfway through this. The sexy femme fatale, mysterious, he don't trust her, and justifiably so, getting sucked into the story. And this is the This is a watch from his ex, who we see commit suicide at the beginning. Then we get a bit of backstory about from the Red War, you know, his part in the war. And again, like this kind of the colouring again, suiting the geography of where he is in the world, and giving you that tone, and then back again into modern day. And the you know, there's still like two heavies turn up. He's he's got to use the whiskey bottle to bash one of them. Love it. And then we get into some techie stuff. And again, I don't want to spoil these. This is a great sci-fi noir storyline. You can just see from what I'm showing you, it's a great noir. And again, use that trope of the veil, a bit like the Matrix, but this is a bit more on the nose. Because it's a comic, because it's in 2D, and here he is with the paint, and we don't know why he does this yet. We don't know why. He's got this pattern on his glove. Don't know why. So, you know, it's just a little detail, but in the meanwhile, it looks cool. It does, just looks cool, and it's a great story. I can't wait. Can't wait for the next issue. Can't wait. And I'm not going to spoil the ending. I'm going to leave it there. I've just realised I ain't going to turn any more pages because I want to leave you with that, and also talk about the cover of the week, because it wasn't the biggest week, but that for me, design wise, this for me is one cracking cover. Obviously, I think there's a couple here that I didn't cover this week, because, you know, I have to make choices, and you know how much I like the Zenoscope stuff, but I'm going to put this into cover of the week territory. I thought that was a really nice, you know, if you're going to try and sell a comic, you know, on the racks against everyone else, you know, what's going to draw your eye to it? What is going to draw your eye to a comic? Well, I think those two covers certainly accomplish that. A bit more standard fare from Mary Jane and Black Cat, but Paulo Siqueira, I don't know, and Rochelle Rosenberg done this cover. And I just thought there was just something about this cover that was quite pulpy. That was quite old-fashioned. Like, that was a bit old school. It reminded me a little bit of Arthur Adams. But I've got to say, I thought that was a cracking cover. And the only other one really, just in the run, it's got to be in the running because it's Alex Ross. But I've got to admit, I think the colouring on the covers are getting lost a little bit. I like it. I like what they're doing, and obviously I've just reviewed it. And I like the black and white strip through it. But that was kind of like, in a way, just like a little runner-up. I thought I just want to show that off a little bit more. But all in all, I do think that they are great covers, and I do think that's a fantastic cover if you're going to sell that kind of comic. And you know, I've reviewed some of them, and they aren't just what you might think the cover is telling you. They surpass the promise of the cover. They don't just give us the TNA character of the cover. They are definitely better stories than that. But this one just didn't make it into the top 6 this week, unfortunately. But I am going to go with Clear. I mean, that's top of the shop for me, this week. And I'm glad to see Dark Horse Comics kind of taking back some ground that Image and Boom and AWA are taking from them, because Dark Horse were your original independent comic books publisher. So I'm over the moon. And these two, like I say, two creators, top of their game. And for the price, I've got to say, for what you get nowadays for $4.99, that's 56 pages, no adverts, no nothing. Solid. So that's comic of the week, cover of the week, superstar of the week. And as always, please leave a comment, tell me what you're buying, and subscribe if you can. YouTube is trying to work against us at the moment, so I don't know why, but please like, share, subscribe, and until next week, I'll bid everyone adios.